and fish. So, I was a cooking. And now is a secure. Amen. Nana. Nana.
Doing? You're funny.
Hello, so today I'm going to show you how to make baked oatmeal. That's something we have for breakfast once a week. And I've wanted to make a video on it for a long time because a lot of people don't know what that is, but usually I make it at like 6:30, 7:15 in the morning. And I'm usually in a hurry, but this time I just tried to video at the same time. And I have a video of me cooking with Lydia, which I don't cook with her very often because this is a little bit stressful, but you might enjoy watch that. And I have a thought about joy and some thoughts about being a light. So the thought about joy, there is a quote and it's also a song, and it says, "Joy is the flag flown high from the castle of my heart when the king is in residence there." So Queen Elizabeth had her own personal flag, and wherever she went, that flag went with her. And if you saw that flag, you knew that the Queen was there. And so the person who wrote that quote compared our hearts to being a castle, and to the King or the Queen being Jesus, and joy as being the flag. So I think that's quite a neat comparison, because the flag represents the presence of the Queen or the King, and so we can have joy because of the presence of God. And that means we can always have joy no matter what we're going through, because God is always there. And Jesus promised that He would never leave us nor forsake us. And no matter what we're going through, nobody can take that away from us. Even if we're locked up all by ourselves, Jesus is still with us. God is still with us. So we can always have joy. Might not mean we always feel happy, but we can always have joy because of the presence of God. And we can always be thankful because we know that God is with us. And Psalm 16 verse 11 says, "In thy presence is fullness of joy." So true joy comes from knowing God and being in His presence. So our joy doesn't come from our circumstances or our possessions or our situation. Our joy comes from God being with us. And some thoughts about being a light. I have been studying lighthouses, and I have these thoughts written on my computer, which is why I'm looking this way. So I was studying lighthouses the other night, and I typed out some different things that we can learn from them. So the first thing I noticed with lighthouses is that there are so many different kinds of lighthouses. I thought lighthouses were all white or white and red. They were kind of the ones that I had seen, but when I looked up different lighthouses around the world, there are so many different kinds of lighthouses. There are some unusual ones. There's two in South Korea that look like a horse. There's also some in South Korea that look like mushrooms. There are ones made out of stone. There's even a pink lighthouse. They're all different shapes, different heights. Some look like a church, some look like a castle, and then some of the more traditional types, the ones that we're more familiar with. So what I learned from that is that, well, if you think of Christians being a lighthouse, as in Jesus being the light that shines through us, because you can also think of a lighthouse as being a picture of Jesus, because He rescues us from our sin, but we can also think of Christians being the lighthouse. So Jesus said He was the light of the world, but He also said to His disciples that you are the light of the world, and then He talked about letting our light shine and not trying to hide our light. So Christians can also be compared to as lighthouses. But yeah, so lighthouses can look all different. They can be different colors, different shapes, different sizes, and yet they all have the same purpose, and they have many things in common, and they're still like made the same way. The main parts of a lighthouse, or the way the lighthouse is made up, is still the same. So although they look different, they're all, you know, pretty much the same in certain ways. And I thought that's quite a neat picture of Christians too. Like, Christians can be very different, and we can easily kind of look down on other people that are a bit different to us, or who do things a little bit differently to us. And yet what really matters with the lighthouse is that the light is shining. It's not so important what it looks like, or, you know, what color it is, or all of that. What matters is that the light is shining. So we should be careful not to be too critical of other people who are a little bit different than us if their light is shining, if they have Jesus. Another one, an interesting thing about lighthouses is that they're painted differently according to the background. So a lighthouse can be painted in contrast to the background so that they stand out. And I thought that's interesting because I don't like to stand out at all, but we shouldn't be afraid to stand out in a good way for God, because then we will make more of a difference if we are different. We shouldn't just want to blend in with everybody else around us. Another thing is, the higher the light, the further it can be seen, but it can't be too high, otherwise the people close by can't see it. So the higher the light on a lighthouse is, the further it shines, but if it shines too far away, then those close by can't see it. So I thought, yeah, what we can learn from that is, although we should have a heart for the people that are out there, we should also not be so focused on other people that we neglect our own family, which it can be easy to do. So we need to, you know, focus on our own family, but as well as going to other people as well. Another thing is, it's important for the windows to be clean, so the light wouldn't be lessened in any way. So the lighthouse windows have to be kept very clean so that the light can shine out the windows. And what we can learn from that is that we need to confess and repent from our sins so that we are clean, so that God's light can shine through us. And another one is, no matter where it's located, the purpose of a lighthouse is always the same. So some lighthouses may be near, some lighthouses might be in very isolated places, but some might be near cities, but the location is not what's important. Wherever a lighthouse is, its job is important because it's saving lives. So wherever God has put you, whether it's in an isolated place or in a place with many people, what's most important is that you are living for God and doing what He wants you to do. Another thing is, preventing shipwrecks is just as important as rescuing people who have been shipwrecked. So a long time ago, when people lived in the lighthouses, they would sometimes have to rescue people who had been shipwrecked. And somehow that sounds way more grand than just shining the light. But when you shine the light, then it prevents shipwrecks, and that's just as important as rescuing people who have been shipwrecked. So for us, yeah, like both ways, it's saving lives. So whether we help prevent people from, like say children, if we're teaching children, then we can be preventing them from going the wrong way. And that's just as important as trying to help people who are further down the road, who their lives are more messed up. So preventing shipwrecks is just as important as rescuing people who are shipwrecked. Another thing with a lighthouse, when it's all dark and ships are out in the ocean, with a lighthouse, all they're going to see in the middle of the night is the light. And yeah, it's the light that is the most important, not the actual lighthouse. And it's good for us to remember that it is the light that is what matters the most. It's not about us. It's not so much what, you know, we shouldn't be focused on ourselves. We should be focused on knowing God, because He will be the light that shines through us. Yeah, sometimes we can focus too much on the wrong things, and yet if you think of a lighthouse in the dark, we see it is the light, and it's only the light that is going to help people. So it's only God that can save people, so that's what we should be focused on. So those are the main thoughts that I wrote down, and I hope they are helpful to you. I'm going to show you how to make baked oatmeal, which is what we have for breakfast every Sunday morning. But I just realised I have muesli bars in the dish, so I need to get rid of that first. Now we are ready. Now we need 1 cup of margarine or butter. I just used table spread this time. And it needs to be melted, so I just stick it in my dish and put it in the oven while I'm getting the rest, and that melts by itself. I usually put 2 teaspoons of vanilla as well, but I don't have any, so I can go without this time. And frozen blueberries, they make it really delicious. I don't measure it, I just pour some in how much I think. I like using the big oats, but you don't have to. But I like it better with big oats. So now it's all ready to go in the oven. This is a big double lot, this is a big dish. I used to just make a single lot, but it wasn't quite enough. So this is more than enough, and usually me and Johan finish it off during the week. So you stick it in the oven at 180 degrees for half an hour and it's done. All done, and you eat it in a bowl with some milk or yogurt. Lydia, what are you making?
Eggs.
What? What are you making?
Eggs.
Eggs? You got eggs in there?
It's
What else do you have in there? Do you have some milk?
Yeah.
Some rolled oats?
Yep.
You're gonna make pancakes?
Yeah.
Yum. Okay, now we need some salt.
Where's that?
1.5 teaspoons. A teaspoon.
Okay.
Oop.
If the gas.
Tablespoon.
Sorry.
Okay. One. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You ready? Ooh, what's that?
The knife.
Hot.
Yeah.
pancakes.
Yay.
Yum.
Yay.
Yay. Mommy okay?
No.
No, okay.
Okay. Daddy.
Pancakes.
Yeah.
Is it all finished?
No.
Yummy?